Let's talk about the using variables. You know from math class a variable is a changeable value. So in a game, what would a changeable value be? Well, commonly games you play have a score. That would be the easiest changeable value to imagine. So let's go ahead and open a game you've probably already looked at, which is the Pong game. Okay, if you've tried playing this game, you know you just hit the ball, you move your mouse back and forth, and if your paddle doesn't get the ball, the game is over. Simple enough, but there's no score with this game, so let's add a score. Now this is a one-player game, so we're going to keep that in mind when we add a score. We're going to make a variable and call it score. And because it's a one-player game, I'm going to have this variable apply to all sprites. If it was a two-player game, I'd probably want it to apply to just one sprite, player 1, and then a different sprite for player 2. Now, I know at the beginning of the game, I want the score to be 0. So I'm going to make sure the score is set to 0 at the beginning of the game. And then I'm going to say every time the paddle hits the ball, the score is going to go up by 1. Let's try our game. 1, 2, okay, etc. So that's the easiest way to add a variable to your game. Now at some point you might want to say the game is over, say when the score gets to something like 21. So I can go to my operators and say when the score is equal to 21, wait until, and then I would broadcast something like, you win. And then maybe the stage would receive you win, and it would change to say you win, and the game would be over that way also. Okay, so I have added something to the Pong game, but there are other ways variables can be used besides score. You might think of games you played where they have health. So instead of changing up every time the opponent's laser beam hits you, the score might change by -1, the health rather, by -1. So you lose health, and then when the health is 0, the game is over. Another easy way to use variables. Sometimes variables are used just to hold values. Here's a color matching game. And each of these is a particular color. When you click on it, it has a different costume that it changes to. Purple, blue, green, etc. And they have that color set when you click on it. So when I click on this, it was the purple one, and the color is set to purple. Now this little button here keeps track. He says set the first click to, and it's going to be purple, and then the second click is going to be set to the color of that one, and then they're going to be compared, and if they match, you get a point, but if they don't match, no point is received. So these are things your player might not necessarily see. You don't have to show those to your player. But they're built into the game to make the game work. Another way a variable can be used is if you looked at a particular sprite called Scratch Gravity Cat. I'm going to go get Gravity Cat. He has his script in him already. And this is just showing you a movement of Gravity Cat. We'll get rid of the other cat. This just allows the cat to move in a certain way. And the variables they used here were just Vx and Vy. It just means velocity or speed in the x direction and the y direction. And when the cat gets too far in the y or x direction, it just tells it to change direction, to go the opposite way by putting in a -1. You don't have to see those numbers in any particular time in the game, but they're there causing the movement of the cat. And by the way, if you decide to use Gravity Cat, and you don't want to see that pen, all you would have to do would be to say, put the pen up, get rid of these pen things then. You don't need them anymore. And the cat will move in that way without creating the line. So I hope all of you understand how a variable works and try it out in your game.